Now, Lowcountry Forever, a public affairs presentation of the Charleston Radio Group.
It's that time of year, back to school time, but not just for elementary, middle, and high school seniors. Our areas of higher education are all going back to school as well, and perhaps you or your son or daughter is thinking about college. Why not think about Trident Tech? It's our subject today on Lowcountry Forever. I'm Brian Cleary. I'm joined by the Director of Public Information on Trident Tech. He is David Hansen. David, first of all, thanks so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
I would have to think that this would be a busy time of year for anyone who's involved in education at any level.
It most certainly is, and especially this year with the good news that we're sharing, which you're happy to help share with our community.
Absolutely. And when people these days, more often than not, when they're talking about college, a lot of the conversation revolves around tuition and the expense of it. So the great news, if I've got this correct, all Trident Tech programs are going to be offered tuition-free for eligible South Carolina residents for the next school year. Is that correct?
That is correct. In the past few years, we've been able to offer tuition-free programs for about 70 programs, which has been great. But this year, we've been able to open it up through additional funding from the state to all of our programs, which we have over 150 programs, associate degrees, diplomas, and certificates. So this just opens it up so much for students who are maybe looking to change careers, or students who are right out of high school who are looking to start their college career, students who are maybe thinking of transferring to a four-year college. Our university transfer programs hadn't been included in past years, but now they are. So it's really making Trident a smart place to start, no matter where you plan to go.
And when you say the word student, and I mean this in no negative way, but if I think of student and College of Charleston, Clemson, whatever it might be, I think of somebody who just got out of high school. When I think of Trident Tech, though, and student, I think of that person, but I also think about adults. So is this program available to anyone who could be a student at Trident Tech?
That's a great question, because it really is for everybody. Students who just graduated from high school this past spring, 18-year-olds, all the way up to any age, basically. Our students are generally older, working adults. So many of them, they have families, they have jobs and other responsibilities. Attending Trident is great for them because we offer flexibility in our scheduling. We have lots of entry points during the semester. We've always been the most affordable option, but you can't beat free. So that's about as affordable as you can get. So really, we have students who are returning after many years out of high school. Many of our students actually are coming back after having four-year degrees to get retrained or to get additional training for their current job. So we run the gamut of different types of students.
We're talking education today on Lowcountry Forever. I'm Brian Cleary, joined by David Hansen. David is the Director of Public Information at Trident Tech. He's bringing us up to date on a free tuition program that's going on. So, David, let's talk about any different criteria or requirements. First of all, you've got to be a South Carolina resident. What else do people need to know in terms of them getting this free tuition?
Well, really, that's basically it. As long as you're a South Carolina resident, you can qualify for this scholarship. It's called the Workforce Scholarships for the Future. That's basically the additional money that the state has provided. New students and students who haven't been at the college in like the past 3 semesters, they should also submit a college admissions application. You have to be admitted to the college before registering for classes. So that's why it's important to fill out that college admissions application.
And as we talk about back to school, high schools, elementary schools, and even colleges, you're getting ready. So take us along a little timeline, because somebody may be thinking, wow, I wasn't going to go back to school, but now with this program I am. What is the timeline in terms of the start of school at Trident Tech, and when do people need to get these applications? Obviously, the sooner the better, but get them filled out online.
Definitely the sooner the better. Thankfully, like I said, we have lots of entry points during the semester. We have different term lengths. So we have what we call a full fall, which is the full 14-week semester. We also have 2 7-week terms, which we call Fall 1 and Fall 2. The full fall starts August 22nd. The first 7-week term, Fall 1, starts August 22nd as well. And then Fall 2 starts October 18th. And then just recently, we've added what we call mini-mesters, and we have 4 3-week mini-mesters during the semester. Those start August 22nd, September 21st, October 18th, and November 16th. The first classes basically for all of these began August 22nd, But if the student doesn't have time to get ready by then, there's many entry points throughout the semester. So it's not too late if they don't make it in by August 22nd. They can join us at any time.
And for somebody who's maybe not up to speed in terms of college, because they went like me to college a couple of years ago when things were a little bit different, when you talk about the mini semesters and things, you're not talking about a different quality of education, right? You're just talking about a more compressed class schedule.
That's exactly right. You get the same number of college hours, the academic credit hours. It's just in a shorter time period. So there's no quality loss. It's just more sort of compressed, as you said.
And one of the things I think people love about Trident Tech, I think you guys have set up your programs in mind with someone who might have a full-time job, might be working, or a mom and childcare. So you really do bring in a lot of flexibility to allow people the chance to get this education.
Absolutely. And during COVID, we learned so much like everybody else. We began to offer different types of courses. We had offered online courses for a very long time, but we expanded those offerings. And we also expanded what we call our hybrid courses, which are part online and part in class. So we have our traditional on-campus instruction in the classroom. We now have hybrid courses, which is, like I say, partly online, and then you come into class as well, and then completely online. And so basically, it really helps working people with childcare issues and that sort of thing to be able to choose a schedule that fits their individual needs.
And as people are listening, I think a lot of folks go, oh, well, Trident Tech tuition, that's partly done through the South Carolina Education Lottery. But what you're saying is you've got additional funds from the state that is helping create this free tuition program?
That's correct. By applying for the FAFSA, basically we'll apply any federal aid, other state aid first, and then we'll cover whatever is remaining with this additional funding that we receive. So a person may get a Pell Grant, they may get a South Carolina Lottery Tuition Assistance Scholarship, and so we'll apply all that, and then whatever is remaining, we'll cover that for the student.
And in terms of, I want to start on August 22nd, what would be my deadline, do you know, in terms of, hey, I've got to get the online applications and things filled out by, is there a specific date?
We don't have an application deadline per se, but like I say, I would just say to go online to tridenttech.edu. You can submit the college admissions application online. There's also, if you go to our homepage, there's a banner there that takes you straight to the free tuition through 23 initiative, and that will walk you through the steps of what you need to do. It also provides a link to the FAFSA.gov site. And so basically, I would just say to go on as soon as you can to fill out that application, because the sooner you do that, the sooner you'll be admitted to the college. But there's still time to get in for fall for sure.
Since it is back to school time, we're talking education today on Lowcountry Forever. I'm Brian Cleary, joined by David Hansen. David is the Director of Public Information at Trident Tech. David, you mentioned your programs. What are some of the more popular programs that you guys are offering these days at Trident Tech?
Our two transfer programs, the Associate in Arts and the Associate in Science, they're our two largest programs. Students realize, like you said, you had mentioned earlier how student debt is certainly a hot topic. And so students realize by attending Trident, they can cut that cost down dramatically. A lot of people continue to work. They maybe stay at home with their parents if they are younger. And so they're able to attend 2 years here before they transfer. And so those are two of our biggest programs. Nursing is a hugely popular program, preparing students to work in the local hospitals and other healthcare facilities. And we have, so many different types of programs. We have our 2-year programs, which are associate degree programs, but we also have a lot of certificates. And so students who maybe want to prepare for a job in, say, a year or less, we have everything from air conditioning, refrigeration mechanics, avionics maintenance, bookkeeping, just a whole host of things. We have a really popular new program at our Berkeley campus. It's a truck driver training program, which is 9 weeks long, and it has a waiting list because it's so popular. Students can do quite well in that class when they get out into the job market as far as finding jobs and salaries. So that's a really popular one. And that's also, again, covered by this free tuition initiative. So it's basically, if you have an interest, we can pretty much match that interest and get you a free year of education.
And maybe if you can expound on that a little bit, because I think in some ways when people think of Trident Tech, they think of tech skills. And with the way, whether it's from COVID or the economy or whatever, it seems like there's so many jobs in things that in the past you didn't go to college for, you went to a tech school for. And whether it's, as you said, truck driving or computers or things like that, you guys seem to offer a lot of programs that people can take care of in a relatively short period of time and come out with a pretty good, high-paying job and a good career ahead of them.
That is true. We have advisory committees that serve our programs, and that means that we have advisors in the community for each of our programs that tell us what they need for their employees on the job. And so we are training people specifically for the demands of the current workforce. And we have employers who are clamoring for employees. They just don't have students. They can't find them out in the community that have the skills that they need. So if you come to Trident and you're in one of our programs, we can generally, pretty much find you employment because we have the skills that are needed in our community. We're a community college. That's what we're here for, to serve the Tri-County area. And so what we offer are the programs that lead to employment in this community. And that ranges from veterinary technology to horticulture to business hotel operations. We have something for everybody, I feel like.
David, you mentioned community, and it seems like Trident Tech is part of the community because there's not just one location. How many Trident Tech campuses are there? 5
campuses in the Lowcountry. We have our downtown Palmer campus. We have the Mount Pleasant campus. We have the Thornley campus in North Charleston. We have the Berkeley campus in Moncks Corner. And just recently, last fall, we opened our Dorchester campus on Dorchester Road in Somerville. So we are all over the Lowcountry. If we can find us online, or you can find us in your community. So we're within a very close proximity to everybody in the Lowcountry.
So for people who live in Moncks Corner or in Somerville who've said, I don't want to have to drive to North Charleston or downtown, you've got people covered from all over the Lowcountry.
Exactly. As traffic increases every day, it becomes even more important to have those locations near our residents. And so we were really excited to open that Dorchester campus in Somerville last fall because that just makes it so much easier for people not having to get on 26 and haul it down to North Charleston or somewhere else.
And no matter where you are in the Lowcountry, hospitality is a big part of our economy. So many jobs in hospitality. What about training for folks who want to go into the hospitality industry? You have that at Trident Tech?
Yes, our Culinary Institute of Charleston. We have culinary arts, baking and pastry, hotel and tourism management. And as you said, those are certainly booming here in Charleston, and that continues to grow. And we have wonderful kitchens and dining rooms, both on our Thornley campus in North Charleston and on our campus in downtown Charleston, our Palmer campus. Yeah, it's a booming employment field.
And for people who are looking at a 4-year college education, I think there is a little bit in the back of some people's minds. Well, yeah, if I go to Clemson, if I go to the College of Charleston, that's 4 years. I'm quality education. That little campus in North Charleston, I'm not going to get as good education, but really those first 2 years that you can save so much money on, those credits are going to transfer to all these institutions of higher learning, correct?
I'm so glad you mentioned that because I don't think people realize that the same accrediting body that accredits Trident Technical College accredits the 4-year colleges, and that's called the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools. And so we are accredited by the same body, which ensures that the quality of our instruction is as good as the quality of instruction at the 4-year colleges. And so students who come to us can be assured that they will get the quality of education that they need to be able to be successful at 4-year colleges. And we have found that our students are just as, if not more successful when they transfer than students who attend that 4-year college all the way through. So thank you for mentioning that. Absolutely.
And the fact now that perhaps it's tuition free for some students. So obviously we're coming up on a time that if you want to enroll for the fall semester, now would be a great time to do it. David, if you could run through one more time, I can get tuition-free schooling at Trident Tech. What do I need to do?
Just go to www.tridenttech.edu. You'll see a banner at the top of the page. Click on that, and it will tell you every step you need to do to enroll this fall and then also next spring and next summer because it's for a full year. Just apply to the college, and we'll take care of the rest.
If the word free means something to you, check out Trident Tech. David Hansen is the Director of Public Information at Trident Tech and our guest today on Lowcountry Forever.
Saturday, September 17th, you can honor the heroes of 9/11 and those who've served our nation since. Make plans now to be a part of this year's 9/11 Heroes Run to benefit the Travis Manion Foundation, which strives to unite and strengthen communities. Both volunteers and participants are needed for this year's 5K event taking place on Daniel Island. Sign up now and run to remember. Get volunteer and race information at 9/11 Heroes Run Charleston SC.itsyourrace.com. Did you know sweet tea was created in Somerville? Come celebrate the birthplace of sweet tea. Saturday, September 17th, Somerville is going to be the place to be for the annual Sweet Tea Festival. The Somerville Dream invites you to Hutchinson Square in downtown Somerville for an amazing street fair of local food trucks, outstanding live entertainment, and plenty of delicious, refreshing, ice-cold sweet tea. Plus, you'll be able to vote and decide who has the best sweet tea at this year's festival. Learn more about the annual Somerville Sweet Tea Festival today at somervilledream.org.
The Charleston Radio Group is the Lowcountry. Every week, we highlight local organizations and events that are helping to make a difference here where we live. If you have a group, event, or an idea to feature on Lowcountry Forever, let us know. Visit lowcountryforever.com and click on our podcast link for contact information. Now, Lowcountry Forever continues.
We're in the dog days of summer. The feels like temperature over 100 every day. You don't really feel like running. That's okay, because the running event that you want to be a part of will happen in the fall when it's cooler, more comfortable. We're talking about the James Island Connector Run today on Lowcountry Forever. I'm Brian Cleary. First of all, joined by Diane Errington. Diane is the president of the Charleston Running Club. Also joining us today, the executive director of the Gavalas-Kolanko Foundation. Nick Gavalas is with us. Diane, let's start with this. For people who aren't aware, give us a little overview of what the Charleston Running Club is all about.
The Charleston Running Club is about running, obviously, and about socializing, I guess. It's been around for a very long time. It helped found the Bridge Run, and it also helped start the Kiowa Marathon. It has some very famous and some very fast runners. It puts on 3 races a year, which were all taken over actually, and which are all fundraisers. So we have a fundraising race for the College of Charleston in January, a fundraising race for the volunteer fire station on Sullivan's Island in June, and then what I call our biggest and most wonderful race, which kind of really isn't sort of fair, I guess, because the other 2 races are fabulous as well, but it's just one of my favorite ones because it's one of the most challenging, and it's the only time you ever get to run or walk the James Island Connector. So it makes it a wee bit more special than the Bridge Run. And the other thing that I think makes it very special is the charity that it raises funds for. And in all honesty, it is the reason that I ran the race for the first time in 2018. I really loved the idea that there was somebody out there that was raising funds for students with disabilities so that they could go and get a college education.
So we're talking about the James Island Connector Run coming up on Saturday, October 15th. And Nick Gavalas, the Gavalas-Kolanko Foundation, the race benefits the foundation. Nick, not everybody may be familiar with what you're doing with the foundation. Can you explain how the foundation came together and what your goal is with it?
In 1999, Ron Kolanko and I got together, and we were trying to do something a little different than the normal civic activity and church activities. And Ron had anonymously supported students with physical disabilities up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And so when Ron and I got together and started talking about it, I said, well, Ron, if you've done this before, let's see if we can establish an organization here with the sole purpose of helping students with physical disabilities out and also raising awareness of the situation with students with physical disabilities. So we established a public charity in 1999, and our primary fundraiser then was the Charleston James Island Connector Run. I think Roper Hospital had it and they gave it up, and we fortunately were able to take it on, and that became our primary fundraiser. The purpose of the foundation is to provide college scholarships for students with physical disabilities. And what that means is that these students have sight, hearing, or movement impairments. And so what we set about doing is finding universities and local colleges that would support that. And we started with the College of Charleston, and now we're serving 6 colleges in the area: the College of Charleston, Charleston Southern University, the Citadel, the Clemson University Restoration Institute, Trident Technical College, and the Medical University of South Carolina. So we've grown over the years. But one thing I want to stress is that we're not just looking for students with physical disabilities to support. These students have to be fantastic students academically. They have to be involved on campus. And they also have to demonstrate that they're involved with community outreach. And I'll tell you, Brian, we have seen some amazing stories, because one common thread that runs through all of these students is that they want to be fiercely independent, and they will achieve regardless of the obstacles that have been put in front of them. And so We have wholeheartedly supported these groups. I think we've given out since 1999 about 260 scholarships locally. We're very proud of that. We wish we could have done more. We look to the James Island Connector Run as our primary fundraiser. And with COVID, obviously, things got shut down. So Diane and her team now are trying to pick up where we left off and make this into a great race, which it has always been.
And it's the race that serves and honors students with disabilities, the James Island Connector Run, coming up on October 15th. Our subject today on Lowcountry Forever. I'm Brian Cleary, joined by Diane Errington, the president of the Charleston Racing Club and also the executive director of the Gavalas-Kolanko Foundation. Nick Gavalas is with us. Now, Nick, you've raised more than $1 million in helping these students. So for someone who's going to come out, register for the run, know their money is going to help the foundation, can you give us a little bit of an idea? Is the money just goes to pay these students' tuitions, or are we taking care of them in a number of different ways?
Well, what we do is each school in July submits applicants to us that are eligible, that meet our criteria. Once our board meets and reviews each of these students' files, then we select who we're going to give scholarships to for the upcoming year. And then what we do is we send the money directly to the schools. The schools deposit it into the student accounts. And whatever expenses are eligible that can be paid from this account, then that's the way it works. So we deal directly with the institutions, but the money goes to the students.
And so that we know someone who's registering, because sometimes you think, well, where's my money going? The way you've set up the foundation, you know that this money is going and going to be used for these amazing students to forward them and help them out in their secondary education.
It's true. We are an all-volunteer organization. We do not have any paid employees on our staff. We never have. And we're a dedicated group of individuals on our board that have supported this over a long period of time, and the community has been behind us for many years, and we really appreciate it.
So, Diane, that should motivate, hopefully, some more people to become a part of this year's event. So, October 15th, why don't you lay out what's going to happen? You've got 2 different events during the day. What can people expect when they register for the James Island Connector Run?
So, we have a 10K and a 5K. Both of them will be starting at Cannon Park, and they'll also be finishing at Cannon Park. The 10K takes runners almost all the way across the James Island Connector and back. It goes up over 5 hills, the last hill being just before they come down for the finish. So it's quite spectacular. It's an absolutely beautiful view when they run over the Ashley River. The 5K goes over the Fielding Connector, circles out of Cannon Park and back to Cannon Park. Also a really pretty course. So yeah, they have that to look forward to. The 5K can be walked or run walked as well, and they can also have strollers on that course if they wish to. We're going to have an after party as well at the park, so 40 Mile Detour will be there. They've been hosting the event for many, many years. We will have a beer garden this year. We're bringing that back. We couldn't do it last year because of COVID restrictions. So yeah, there's quite a lot to look forward to, and hopefully a lot of socializing now that races are back.
And in terms of the Charleston Running Club has taken over the event, they'll run it. It'll be efficient, going to be a great race this year. Have you had other outside activities and other outside people who have come up? Do you have some sponsors lined up for this year's event that we need to thank for their support?
We have a couple of sponsors lined up already. Stretch Zone, for example, is providing gift certificates to all of the top finishers. So all of the top finishers of the 10K and the 5K. The top finisher awards for the 10K are being sponsored by Cheryl Stalnacker, who is a local painter who also is well known in the artistic world. She's also a fellow triathlete, so I'm super, super excited that she agreed to sponsoring those awards. Pinnacle is sponsoring us this year, and Pack Rat is sponsoring us, so I'm very excited about that.
Diane Errington and Nick Gavalas are our guests today on Lowcountry Forever. I'm Brian Cleary. Diane is the president of the Charleston Running Club. Nick is the executive director of the Gavalas-Kolanko Foundation that will benefit from the event. Nick, you mentioned that your organization is completely volunteer, so obviously people can help by being a part of the James Island Connector Run and having a portion of the proceeds from the race go to help the foundation. Are there other ways? Can you let us know how people can volunteer? Or if they can't volunteer, how else can they help out your foundation?
We can be reached at gkfoundation.org. And anybody that's interested in volunteering or sponsoring, we'll pass that information on to Diane, because volunteerism in this race is very important. When you cover a 10K, you need to have volunteers for water stations and security purposes, et cetera. So volunteerism is a very big part of it. And of course, sponsorships are always welcome.
And I think it says a lot about your foundation that not only are you making certain that the money goes to help someone who is an excellent student, but talk a little more, if you would, about the fact that there is a give back, really, from the people who are being rewarded through the foundation, that you want to make certain that they're, in a way, paying it forward?
Well, the stories that I could tell you, Brian, are so many about these outstanding individuals. There are many of them that have gone on to graduate school. We have one recipient this year that is at MUSC, and she's just incredibly outstanding. There's so many stories, and I think our dollars help them do the little extra things that are a challenge to both them and their families, whether it's medical assistance, wheelchairs. We've even seen that money go towards housing downtown so that they wouldn't have to drive because they're wheelchair users. The benefits are many, but these individuals, if you follow them, they are not only outstanding students, but they're outstanding citizens.
Giving feels good. And as the executive director of a foundation that creates these opportunities for people, that's got to be an amazing feeling for you.
Well, it's been one of the most gratifying things for not only me, but our team, our board, our volunteers, everybody associated with it. When you have an opportunity to meet these students and their parents and their grandparents sometimes, and you have a chance to talk with them about what they're doing and what their future plans are, it's exciting, and it's just very, very gratifying.
So, Diane, the point now is we've got to get a lot of people registered. The more people registered, better the race will be, of course, and the more money we'll raise for the foundation. How is it that someone listening today can get and be a part of this year's James Island Connector Run?
So if people want to take part in the race, all they have to do is go to jicrun.com, and they can sign up there for the 5K or the 10K. If people can't race because they're either away that weekend or the weather doesn't appeal to them or whatever, they can also go to the website, jicrun.com, and donate. So what I would also like to point out here at this point in time is that the Charleston Running Club is also a purely volunteer organization. No compensation goes to any of the members whatsoever. 25% of the proceeds from the race are going towards the Gavalas-Kolanko Foundation, and 100% of the donations that are made through the website are also going to the foundation.
And as somebody who's a runner, who's participated in races, all runners were all the same. We want stuff. Am I getting a T-shirt if I register? What do you got for me?
You get the T-shirt if you register. We have edible finisher medals. Obviously, the top finisher awards are going to be absolutely spectacular because in addition to Cheryl Stounlacher being so kind as to do our 10K finisher awards, we have Beyond Basic, who is going to be doing our 5K finisher awards. And I can tell you that they're just going to be absolutely beautiful. They're going to be so beautiful. One of the things that we're trying to do at the Charleston Running Club is to become more sustainable and reduce our carbon footprint, which is why we have the edible finisher medals, because they're edible. It's better to eat them or freeze them than to have medals laying around that people don't collect or that you order too many of. And I also want to have top finisher awards for people that they appreciate, that they can look at, instead of having medals that just hang around on walls. A lot of people don't want medals anymore these days. So I'm trying to get them something that is special.
That's going to work on my kick if I know at the end of that finish line is something I can eat. I am striving forward there. So folks can register and they can get all the information about the race, I'm sure, on the website. So why don't you direct people one more time to what that website is?
It's jicrun.com.
And Nick, the foundation has been part of this event for a long time. I got to think you're happy that it's coming back bigger and better here in 2022.
We're very excited about the reactivation of the James Island Connector Run. It's a family event. It's a lot of fun. Please bring the family. You can bring your pets. It's just a fun time, and I hope we get a big turnout.
And with your help, we will at this year's James Island Connector Run on Saturday, October 15th. Diane Errington is the president of the Charleston Running Club, and Nick Gavalas, the executive director of the Gavalas-Kolanko Foundation, our guest today on Lowcountry Forever.
You've got an opportunity to help the Carolina Children's Charity. Saturday, September 24th. Take part in the 19th annual 5K partial trail run and family fun walk at Palmetto Islands County Park. There'll be food trucks, live music, and plenty of kids' activities. The event benefits Carolina Children's Charity, committed to meeting the needs of local children with birth defects and/or childhood disease since 1987. Registration is now open. Get information on the run at carolinachildren.org.
Buy your home, you became a house hunting ace. Learned about loans, scoured neighborhoods, and asked the right questions. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Thanks for listening to Lowcountry Forever. If you missed any of this week's show, there's a complete recording under the podcast link at lowcountryforever.com. Lowcountry Forever is a public affairs presentation of the Charleston Radio Group.